All right, guys and gals, let's get started with the week 2 training video. Here's a quick agenda of what we've got going on this week. I told myself when I started to make this training video last week was a little bit too long. I wanted to get this thing closer to 10 minutes than 20. But I'll go ahead and warn you guys. We had some really interesting plays take place in week 1. So we're going to start with some illegal shift plays because that's a point of emphasis for our association that we've been spending a good bit of time on. But then after that, we had some just crazy plays this week, and I think they all deserve a little bit of attention. So we'll go ahead and get started. Um, so first things first, good get here. The first 3 are all correct illegal shifts. So you can see the receivers up here at the top of the formation just never get close to set. It's right there. The short wing on that side picks it up. So good job there. Same thing here on the far side. These receivers are just never set, especially not the slot receiver. The outside receiver, he tries to get set, but he's not really set for a full second. We could maybe pass on him, but the slot receiver is just never set. So we need to go ahead and flag this, and we do. We do need to continue officiating. So if you're the line judge here, or the headline, the short wing, excuse me, you do need to continue to officiate. But good pickup on the illegal shift. And then 19, we actually had to rewind this a little bit. The key thing here is these receivers up at the top of the screen are still moving when they send the receiver in motion. They have to get these 2 guys set before they send the receiver in motion. So at this point right here, there are 3 players in motion. This guy's in motion, and both of these guys are in motion. This is a shift, and once you shift, all 11 players must get set before you snap the ball. So this is also a quality illegal shift, and you can see our short wing up at the top of the screen gets that. So good job on those 3 plays. This is a point of emphasis. Now, unfortunately, we missed way too many of these as an association. So here's this one. If you look at the offensive team, just ask yourself, are they ever fully set for 1 second? The answer is no. Everybody's kind of moving around when they snap the ball. It's not a whole lot, but everybody's still kind of getting in their stance when they snap the ball. It's a foul, guys, and we've got to mandate our offensive teams get fully set for 1 full second. It's in the rule book. Here's play 12. Look at these receivers for the offensive team. Now, I don't want to pick on Howard. Howard wants to go up tempo, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with up tempo. That's the way the game is played. But we're going to allow them to go up tempo as long as they meet the requirements of the rule. And the requirement of the rule is that everybody gets set for 1 second. And they just don't do that here, especially this receiver at the top. He's not fully set for a second when they snap the ball. It's a foul. If you call this stuff, the coaches will stop doing it, I promise you. But if we allow them to continuously get away with it, they're going to keep doing it. And until we make them stop, they're going to keep doing this stuff. So just call fouls on this stuff. Same thing as earlier on the Baldwin play. You got the 2 receivers up here that are still moving while they send the motion man. So this is not legal. At this point right here, you still have 3 players. This guy's not set. This guy's not set. This guy's in motion. So this is also an illegal shift. They've got to get everybody set before they send the man in motion. So we missed this one as well. So we've just got to get on top of this stuff. Play 122, guys. We can do a lot better here in a lot of different ways. We've got a coach out here past the numbers. We've got to manage our sideline. One of the either the short wing or the deep wing has got to escort this coach back to the sideline. We've got 2 coaches on the field. This guy's way out too far. We've got to get these guys off. We're not necessarily going to concern ourselves whether the defense has 12 at the snap. The answer is probably. I'm more worried about – so the offensive team, my guess here is, I don't really remember, is that the offensive team decided to sub late, right? They acted like they were going to maybe go for it, and then they run on their punting unit. They have a severe advantage because they're on their near hash. Westside only has to go, 18 yards to get out here. Howard has to sub a whole unit all the way across. Unfortunately, the high school rule book, I wish we did, but unfortunately, the high school rule book, we don't have a matchup rule, so we don't have to allow Howard to match up. It's not my favorite rule in the world, but that's the rule. But so Westside wants to catch Howard in the midst of their change with too many players on the field. You could see the offensive team's coaches are like, snap the ball, snap the ball. They got 12, snap the ball, snap the ball. Well, that's fine, but he can't snap the ball till he gets set. And look at this. The offensive team has to get fully set. Yeah, the defensive team's probably got 12 out there, but also the offensive team is just never fully set. And this is a point of emphasis for us. So we keep hammering. We can't miss stuff like this, guys. It's a textbook illegal shift that we got to get. Play 19. This is an easy one to miss, and really only one official is probably going to see this. Maybe the referee out of the corner of his eye, but really, I'll tell you, when they send this player in motion and this guy is still moving back, the only person that's really going to see this guy is probably the short wing on the near side. The referee might see it out of the corner of his eye, but really we're going to be relying on the short wing at the bottom of the screen here to recognize that this player is in motion when they send the motion man. The short wing on the top side of the screen, he's going to be kind of concentrated on this guy, and so it's really easy. He's not going to be able to see this guy all the way on the other side of the field, right? So if you're the short wing on the near side, and you notice that this guy is shifting back while this guy is also in motion, we need you to pick this up. So we missed this. We need to pick this up as an illegal shift as well. And then here's the last one. So the first thing I'll just talk about is the textbook illegal shift. The offensive line is still going down when they snap the ball. This is one that if you shut it down for a false start, I'm fine with it, but we can't go with a no call. It's not legal. Technically speaking, by the rule, they're not really simulating a snap, so a legal shift is probably best. But if you called this a false start, I wouldn't be upset. But I can be upset when we go no call because it's not legal and it has to be a foul. So that's the first aspect of the play, is that we miss a textbook illegal shift. Now let's get into something that we talk about pretty regularly, but rarely ever happens. So we get an interception, the defense returns it, then he coughs it up, and the offensive team gets it back. Okay? So this is what we call an ABA play, when the offensive team turns it over, the defensive team gets the ball, the offensive team gets the ball back. So the rule on this is once the player gets tackled, the offensive team gets tackled inbounds, the clock does stop. Because by rule, if you have a change of possession during a play, the clock will stop. However, the clock starts on the snap if Team B is awarded a new series. Team B is not going to be awarded a new series. In fact, Team A is going to be awarded a new series. So we should stop the clock when the runner gets tackled and then start the clock on the ready for play. So it's an interesting rule. It's an interesting play that we don't have terribly often. I think it's on the rules test. I think Bodie throws it on the rules test at least once every couple of years. So just remember ABA, ready for play. To be clear, if the offensive team runs out of bounds, the clock will start on the snap because we had an out of bounds. But on this play, since he gets tackled in bounds, we should stop the clock, start the clock on the ready for play. Now, it should also be 1st and 10. So this is why missing the illegal shift is important here, because Howard gets the ball 1st and 10 from the 43, where if we would have called the illegal shift, Westside could have caused Howard to have 2nd and it looks like this is actually 3rd down. So instead of 1st and 10 from the 43, they could have forced a 3rd and 16 from the 44, 3rd and 17. So we've got to get the illegal shift, guys, because it would have made a difference here. Next play, interesting play. We get a great ruling here by the crew. We could have done a little bit better on some of our mechanics, but we get the play correct. We get an interception. First thing I'll note, really good job in reverse mechanics. We see our deep wing busting it up here. This deep wing on the near side, I know, new official. We just got to show a little bit more effort. Deep wing on the far side gives us a good effort. We can already see our short wing on the far side already working his way to the goal line to get in position, and it's a good thing he does. We'll let this go. You can see our short wing is ready to made on the goal line. We could do a little bit better here. I'd like to see you at least 2 yards off the pylon, probably more like 3 and 4. This little G-line goal line pylon here, guys, it will do nothing but hurt you. Before the game, when you're walking the field, take this G and put it on the track. It serves no purpose whatsoever. I would actually want to see you, where this play kind of ends up, I would be fine having you out where this G is located. That's how far wide I want to see you, because otherwise you're going to get hurt if you're standing right here on this pylon. And also, the closer you are to the play, actually the tougher it makes this ruling. Now, we're in decent position. You can see we start to take a step in the end zone, but we actually get in a pretty good position. We do back out a couple yards, and this is our runner right here about to cross the goal line. So we're in a pretty good position, and thank God we are, because, and I'll go to the end zone view, we have to make an extremely tight ruling on the goal line, and you're not going to see the short wing. The short wing's on the goal line, and the only way you ever get this play right is if you're at the goal line, because this ball is clearly out short of the goal line. Right here at about the 1 yard line, this defender comes in and makes an amazing play and strips this ball out. Now we lose track of it. Going back to the high 50, he knocks this ball out. This ball squirts right back out through the back of the end zone. Okay, so really good job by our short wing to get it, and our referee and our short wing. Really good job to get to the goal line so we can properly rule on this. Now we talked about mechanics. How also after the play we could do a little bit better here, right? After the play, we kind of just stand around and we don't make a ruling, which is fine. We don't have to rush to make a ruling. But I'd like to see, this is going to be a big call, right? And so instead of a touchdown, we're going to give the offensive team the ball back for a touchback. This is a huge ruling, and we don't really show any urgency. I would like to see, right as soon as this ball goes out of the back of the end zone, the ball goes dead. I would like to see the referee and the line judge kind of sprinting in together to talk about the play. And instead, we're kind of just walking around, and that walking around kind of seems like indecision. And so I'd like to see our referee and our line judge kind of sprinting in together, talk about the play, and make a ruling. To be clear, we get the play right. We ruled this a touchback, which is an amazing job. I don't want to knock that. How can we get a little bit better on this play? Is just showing some urgency so that everybody knows we understand that this is a big call. Play 8, really the play itself is not terribly difficult, something we see all the time, but I want to talk about some hypotheticals. So we get a free kick. It goes more than 10 yards, and it hits the ground. Once it goes more than 10 yards and it hits the ground, the kicking team can recover it. He jumps up in the air, and he recovers it. Now, the ball should be declared dead right here. As soon as he recovers the ball in bounds at the 31-yard line, the ball should be declared dead. He runs forward for about 3 or 4 yards, and we end up giving him the ball about the 27 or 28. I can't remember exactly. So we missed it by 2 or 3 yards. It's not the end of the world. The crew knew the rule. They just couldn't spot because he's kind of there's no official that has a great angle of where he's at. That's not the end of the world. We give the kicking team the ball. That's fine. What I really want to talk about here, because that's fairly obvious. I think we all know that rule. The ball's dead as soon as the kicking team recovers it. What I wanted to talk about is this ball bounces high in the air and the kicking team player jumps into the air. Now, to be clear, on this play, he clearly lands inbounds. Okay? And so that's fine. I wanted to talk about a hypothetical because he's really close here, right? Let's say this ball hits the ground and the kicking team player jumps up into the air like he does here. And let's say hypothetically he lands out of bounds. The first thing is the kicking team, the recovery is not legal because to recover the ball, if he jumps up in the air to recover the ball, he must land in bounds. So if he lands out of bounds here, the receiving team gets the ball at the spot where he lands out of bounds by the result of the play. But an additional factor here is that team R never touched the kick. So if the kicking team player lands out of bounds, A, the kicking team is not allowed to keep the ball. But B, it's also a foul for a free kick out of bounds untouched by R. So in actuality, what we would do here is, let's say he landed out of bounds, the ball would become dead at the 31-yard line. It would be given to the receiving team, and they would get a 5-yard penalty for a free kick out of bounds, and they would get the ball at the 36-yard line. So very, very interesting play. I wanted to talk about the hypotheticals there if this kicking team player had landed out of bounds. To be clear, he landed inbounds. We officiated the play pretty well. Maybe gave him a couple of extra yards, but we did blow the play dead and give the ball to the kicking team where he recovered it. Play 111, interesting play. We get a pretty bad snap, and then the ball's rolling here. And the question, and I actually spoke to the referee about this, and he was like, on the field, I wasn't sure if he kicked it intentionally. Right here, does the kicking team player kick it intentionally? And the referee said, I just wasn't sure. And you're not always going to be sure. And if in doubt, it's not a foul. I think he kicks it intentionally. If you see the ball's on the ground, watch the kicker's left leg. To me, he intentionally kicks that ball to keep the Crawford player from recovering it. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but I just wanted to talk about this play because if we rule that he kicked it intentionally, this is an illegal kick. And the foul for illegal kick is from the spot of the foul. So if we had called illegal kicking, we didn't, which is fine. if we had called illegal kicking, this would be half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. It is not a loss of down in high school, so we're at the 16-yard line. So if we had called illegal kicking, one of the receiving team's options would have been to give the offensive team the ball at the 6-yard line and replay fourth down. So we could have had like a 4th and 50 situation. So that would have been an option. Another thing to consider is, what if this ball's laying and the kicker kicks it and it goes forward out of bounds? If it goes forward out of bounds, does it meet the requirements of our new rule? Because if you remember, a fumble forward out of bounds, and an illegal kick retains the same status as the loose ball that preceded it, essentially. But it's important to note that this ball did not become loose because of a fumble. This ball became loose due to the snap, and so it's a backwards pass. So the fumble forward out of bounds rule does not apply to this, and we would just roll the play dead where the ball crossed out of bounds. So I think we probably could have had an illegal kick here, which would have led to an interesting decision for the receiving team. And then from here, the kicker picks up the ball and he starts to run. We have not ruled any kicks yet. So the punter picks up the ball and he runs. And then right here at the last second, he kind of just says, all right, well, I'm going to punt the ball. He starts to run. And then he says, okay, well, now I'm going to kick it. And the question is, should we have roughing the kicker here? And we're going to say no. Because at this point, he's run forward 10 yards. It is not, I forget what the rule actually says, but it is not reasonably certain, I think is the terminology that the rule book uses. It is not reasonably certain that a kick will be made. It is not clear he's going to kick this ball. He runs forward for 10 yards, so the defensive team thinks he's going to run the ball, and then at the last second he says, okay, well, now I'll punt it. We don't want to bail him out with a roughing the kicker foul. Now, if they earhole him or do something malicious, you can absolutely call it. But just incidental contact because they think he's going to run is not going to be flagged for an illegal kick. So they end up punting the ball, and the ball gets downed right here. So if we had called the illegal kick, the receiving team would have had the option of either take the ball at the 28-yard line or back the kicking team up from the spot of the foul of the illegal kick, which would have been the 12, or the 16, back to the 8-yard line and replay fourth down. So it would have been an interesting play. So I wanted to talk about that. We talked about this play at our meeting. Happens a lot, we talk about it a lot. It just doesn't happen terribly often. The line of scrimmage was the 29-yard line. You see our short wings are at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback runs beyond the line of scrimmage, then runs back, and he is clearly behind the line of scrimmage, which was the 29-yard line, and he throws a legal forward pass. Under high school rules, this is a legal forward pass. He's allowed to run beyond the line of scrimmage, run back, then throw a forward pass. So that action is legal. Great job by our short wing on the near side, which this is a second half play, so this is the line judge holding the line of scrimmage. The head line judge is holding the line of scrimmage as well. Where we could have done better, anytime you have a busted or a long developing play like this, you have to keep an eye on ineligible. So if you look at the offensive lineman, they think he's starting to run, they bust it downfield, and we have an ineligible receiver right here. At least the line of scrimmage was the 29. When the pass is thrown, he is 7 yards downfield. So we should have had an illegal receiver downfield foul on this. The point I made in the meeting is, yes, by the GHSA mechanics, this is the line judge's call, and I'm fine. The line judge, it's your primary. But please just understand, if you're the H up here at the top of the screen, the line judge is remarkably busy. He's got this quarterback right here. He's officiating that. Then he has to officiate the line of scrimmage. Then he has all this action. Then they throw the pass to a receiver. He has to try to watch that. He can't do 19 things at once. So if you're the H at the top of the screen and you see this big ugly guy 7 yards downfield when they throw this pass, don't be afraid to drop a flag down here, right? Because the L is just super, super busy, and it's easy to not pick this up. Primary responsibility by the mechanics book does go to L, but the H can help us out, as can the umpire. The umpire can also help us out here. So just remember, anytime you have a busted play or a long developing play, that's one where we probably have an ineligible receiver scooting downfield on us. Play 162, kind of similar. So ask yourself, is it reasonably certain a kick will be made? And in my opinion, the answer is yes. Yes, the snap is muffed. That doesn't matter in high school rules. Yes, the snap is muffed, but it is reasonably certain a kick will be made. He picks this ball up, he's immediately putting it down on the ground. He never does anything else with it. It is reasonably certain a kick will be made. The kicker actually does kick the ball, by the way. So it's not the prettiest kick in the world, but the kicker does kick the ball, and it is reasonably certain a kick will be made. So the kicker and holder get protection here, guys. So yeah, I know they muffed the snap, but this holder is incredibly defenseless. He's got his knee on the ground, his back turned. He is doing nothing but holding the ball. And if you look at this this defender coming around the edge, he just destroys the punter. It hits him right in the head. This is a foul. So really good job by the referee here to put a flag on this play. This is the holder has protection here. We just can't allow him to just take a free run at a holder that has his knee on the ground and just blow him up here. So quality foul here for roughing the snapper, or excuse me, roughing the holder. And then our last play this week, we actually talked about punts behind the line of scrimmage last week. So we get a punt. The line of scrimmage is the 16. It looks like the punt lands at approximately the 21, 22 up here. But then look, it bounces back behind the line of scrimmage. So, and the kicking team picks this ball up. Right now, the kicking team is holding the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Look at our short wing. He doesn't kill the play. He's just standing there letting it happen. All right. We do a really good job here of not blowing this play dead. No one ever blew a whistle. I talked to the crew. No one ever blew a whistle. The kicking team picked it up. We were going to allow the kicking team to advance it. But at some point, they stop. The receiving team stops. And then the kicking team player drops the ball onto the ground. Once all 22 players have stopped and nobody's playing football, we're going to support you if you just say, all right, we're going to blow the play dead because nobody wants to play football. So, yes, this crew is actually going to let this kicking team correct by rule. This is a really good job by this officiating crew. This punt is recovered by the kicking team behind the line of scrimmage. We were going to allow the advance. Notice the short wing here up at the top. We're not blowing this play dead. Nobody ever blew this play dead. We were going to allow the kicking team to advance, but at some point, all 22 players stopped, started jogging off the field. The ball was fumbled onto the ground. Yeah, it's a live ball, but nobody was trying to recover it. We're well within our rights to go ahead and shut the play down at that point and give the ball to the receiving team. So really good job by the officiating crew here on an interesting play that we've now had in back-to-back weeks. So that's our training video for week 2. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next week.